maybe when I finish talking to the people here. How's that? I might. I'll have to ponder it, but I will put it on my list for due consideration.
You know, that is the perfect video to come into this segment with, because you'll see she does look like royalty there, or considering herself royalty there, even though she had her tongue in her cheek, I would assume. Hugh Hewitt. I'm so happy to welcome Hugh Hewitt, nationally syndicated radio talk show host. You know him very well. New York Times best-selling author of The Queen. That's why it's so appropriate. The Epic Ambition of Hillary and the Coming of a Second Clinton Era. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Steve, in person.
Yes, in person, as we say in Brooklyn. All right, so do you think she's going to be president of the United States?
She is a prohibitive favorite. I was on Adam Carolla's show last week, and I said, yeah, she's going to be president. And I overstated it, because prohibitive favorites falter, right? The Yankees don't win every year, and sometimes the Steelers don't win. So they can falter, but right now, money, machine, most of the media, the map, they all favor her, so she's ahead.
I mean, everybody asks this question. Donald Trump asked it yesterday, one of many. How does she get away with it? How every day there's more? I mean, with the Sidney Blumenthal revelation that he was a front man for some guy with financial interests in Libya, passing on emails to her about policy in Libya, and she passed it on to other people without anybody's name on it. That alone should disqualify her. Forget the laundry list of everything that came before it. How does she get away with it?
You know, I don't know, Steve. I was arguing with the youngster today at Huffington Post, and I said,
hate those youngsters.
Hate those youngsters. And I was saying, you realize the server was a national security threat. It's not just a scandal. It's a national security threat.
But it was guarded by guards.
Secret Service. Yeah. And I talked to a former CIA guy who said, for certain, Mike Morrell, for certain, it was compromised by foreign intelligence agencies. And Sidney Blumenthal, wouldn't you have loved to have been in that deposition yesterday? You cover Blumenthal like I do. We know he's her right arm, he's her muscle. And so I don't know how she gets away with it, but I do believe it will catch up with her. That clip you rolled, that's Hillary. That's the royalty, that's the queen.
Oh yeah, well, that's a Hillary with trying to have a sense of humor. Her real is get the heck away from. That's the real Hillary. Yeah. And you know, it's so ironic that she's trying to appear and appeal as, you know, the first time around they say she ran as an alpha woman or alpha male, whatever they're calling it, hard-nosed, tough for the job, ready for the call. Now she's a grandmother. She dyes her hair. She's not going to age like the men do in office. My mother told me this, Chelsea that. I mean, it's a complete turnaround.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I do believe that she did me a great benefit. But, you know, when you launch a book, you don't know what events are going to be around, if there's going to be. She acted like a queen on Saturday. Yes. She has talked like a queen since. If she continues to be royalty and reject the media, she not only threw off Ed Henry, she rejected the pool reporter 2 days ago from
London Daily Mail.
Yeah, London Daily Mail. You can't do that in America.
But she's doing it.
But we're calling on her right now, and I do believe her unfavorables have gone. The Quinnipiac came out today, and people don't trust her.
And that's been consistent all the way through. Yet one of her campaign managers was on one of the Sunday shows and said, first of all, no poll has ever shown she's untrustworthy, which was a bold-faced lie. Yeah. What made you choose the Queen? I mean,
because Machiavelli 500 years ago this year wrote The Prince, and that was his advice to his opponents. Right. Because he'd been thrown out by the Medici, the family that ran Florence, and he had been tortured by them and imprisoned by them. And he said, okay, I'm on the out. I might as well tell you how to win. And I try in the Queen to give her the best advice. I channel my inner Axelrod. And I said that with David Axelrod this morning on MSNBC, and he chuckled. And I tried to really, I think she had to run against the Electoral College. I think she ought to run on being a hawk with 5% for GDP for defense. I think she ought to run on making sure that everyone in the country who's in the country stays in the country, regularization. She ought to run for the 70%, not be a prog. You know, this liberal stuff could kill her. Yeah. So I channeled my inner Machiavelli, and I also told her what to be afraid of on the Republican side. You know, her worst nightmare, in my view, is Marco Rubio. I think Ted Cruz, if he's the nominee, she should not debate him. He'll kill her. Right? He'll just.
Well, he won't be the nominee, but that's a good point.
You know, I got that argument this morning. I said Ted is really set up. Senator Cruz is really set up right now, pretty well on the map to run the board of any of them, but not to debate him. If that happened, it's.
Well, how would she get away with not debating him?
Nixon didn't debate in '72. She would say something like, "If the Republican Party wants to nominate an irresponsible clone of Barry Goldwater, that's fine, but I'm not going to dignify him," because he would take her apart, muscle and joint.
What's your take on Trump?
I love Donald Trump. In our business, it's like rain from heaven,
Absolutely.
right? And yet he said, I'm really rich. You know, he said that yesterday. I said, I love you, Donald Trump, but of course he won't last one round.
No, I don't know if it's how much his heart is in it, but he does say things that resonate. You know, for instance, have you heard a Republican candidate or a Republican elected official, period, say, hey, this Obamacare thing, you ain't seen nothing yet. In 2016, it's when 80 million people are going to lose their plans. I mean, and he's right. Trump said it. Nobody else even says that.
Yeah, he's right. Someone said he was the id of America. He actually is the id of America, but there's a lot of super ego in there as well. He also called for building a wall on the Mexican border. In the Queen, I advised Mrs. Clinton, if you want to let everyone stay, fine, but build that wall, because it is the visible expression of an inward conviction that we have to control our borders in an age of terror.
Yeah.
And I had Stanley McChrystal in studio last week. I've been telling everyone this because it stunned me so much. General McChrystal said that ISIS makes 100 million social media contacts a day, Steve, a day. That means they're activating people all over the globe. That means, I see we had an arrest in New York earlier today, the breaking news.
Yeah.
And so we have to be very cognizant of that southern border. And when Trump came out yesterday and said, I'm going to build a wall,
It hit home.
home run.
I bet you. I'm telling you. Now, do you fear that he might run well, he probably won't last. We got 30 seconds. If he doesn't get the nomination, which he probably won't, could he run as a third party?
No, I don't think he's going to go Perot on us. I
Okay.
think he actually is a patriot, and that he knows that that would give Hillary the White House.
Well, this is great. It's so good to meet you. It's so good to in person. I mean, you know, I've been contacted for so many years, and the radio show is always great. You're always making
Thank
news.
you so much,
and
Steve.
That was a pleasure working with your son, who's now with the RNC.
Yeah, in fact, he used to say, I thought all radio talk show hosts were mean, but Steve Malzberg's a really nice guy.
Hugh Hewitt,
Nice to
ladies and
meet you.
gentlemen, the Queen. It's all about Hillary. Get it. The Malzberg panel is next. Don't go away.